upgrade your status as a woman to find a higher level man. And that's why I think you'll never hear anything bad about Hugh. It was the women were free to come and free to leave. Kendra Wilkinson had a couple of things to say about that situation in another podcast. So fair use.
I was 18. I took that one-way ticket, never looked back, and it was the best decision of my life. Hugh Hefner calls one day and was like, "Hi, this is Hugh Hefner. Would you like to move into the Playboy mansion and be one of my girlfriends?" Like, wait, what?
How did he find you?
While I was living with this boy in San Diego, I did this photo shoot, and this photographer sent my photo into the Playboy mansion and to Playboy, and I had no idea. And next thing you know, I get this call. The rumor was that Hef walked by and there was only one photo left out of his pile of photos, and it was mine. And he walked by and he picks it up and he says, "Who's this girl?" That was the story on his end. I'm so grateful for that opportunity.
Of course, we're gonna continue playing the rest of this situation. She was grateful. Very different story we hear on Diddy's side. RJ, today we're gonna discuss, of course, because people are saying, "Hey, you have to used to do the same thing Diddy does." We're gonna give a short discussion about this.
So KR, it's good. It's not good, but it's a funny thing that this is the third topic, because I had this discussion last weekend actually with some people. We were talking about age difference, what's acceptable and what's not acceptable. And the conclusion that I reached, the conclusion that I believe people reached, although some people reached it happily and other people reached it under protest.
Do you have the stomach?
It's like the fact that there's a age gap can lead to the older person misusing the younger person. And so because the younger person his or her mind is not fully developed yet, and so that person might make some decisions that he or she wouldn't have made if his or her mind was fully developed when they met each other, right? And so if you have in this case like a young teen, because she's a teenager, she's still in her teens or late teens, but still a teenager. An 18-year-old girl being chosen by Hugh Hefner to become another one of her girlfriends. And 10-20 years later, she's saying, because she was on this one was on the show as well. I remember. Yeah. When I saw her face, I was like, oh, I know her. But they had like this reality show back then as well. She was
part of that. Yeah.
But she's saying she had a great time and she's grateful for the opportunity. So, but she's saying that she's grateful of the moment. So it's not like what happened, but you can only judge a tree by its fruits. And if the fruit is saying I'm happy, then that means that the tree was happy. Or
at least it was getting water. It was at least giving water and feeding the fruit. Sharing the fruits of his labor.
Yeah.
Let's continue. Fair use.
For me, amazing. And it was healthy for me. It was happy for me. I was safe. It's taboo to the world because they don't really know what really, went on there. And my perspective is only one party every few months. And the rest was like, okay, we all had sex with Hugh Hefner once a week. That's the taboo, is that we had sex with a 7-8-year-old.
Did it feel like a transaction in order to be in that environment?
It definitely felt like a transaction, but I was willing to take it. I was 18. I took that one-way ticket, never looked back, and it was the best decision of my life. It was a heavenly experience for me. Like, there couldn't have been a better experience. And, there's two things that can be right. Like, people are like, how can you say that when you have a daughter or whatever? What would you tell your daughter or whatever? And I'm sitting here like, two things can be right. I had to do what I had to do. I had to survive. I was in a survival mode. I chose what I chose. I made the choice to move into the Playboy mansion, have sex for money with Hugh Hefner. And I actually lived an amazing 5 years of my life.
Going back to what you said, RJ, if at 18, 19, don't totally agree with you. Fully developed doesn't mean that you cannot think. You know right from wrong when you're 16, 15. Let's be honest. It's not it's not
Yeah,
it's
but you
it's
can't
not like
really.
it's gonna be a big difference between 2018 to 22. Because according to the
Yeah.
we keep moving, RJ. My problem with this argument is we keep moving the
Goalpost.
brain
goalpost.
the goalposts, now the development of humans to later stages. In the Middle Ages, one of the greatest kings of all time were 15 years old, 16, 17. Couple of the most influential people from our time. Oh, not from our time, actually, from in our history. We're just kids in our. So you cannot say it's not fully developed, because by that time, if these guys were making crazy choices by deciding the future of nations when they were 15, 13 years old, 15, 16, 17. So the thing that's I have an issue with that. Not saying that the brain is not fully developed, but you know right from wrong around that age. You just sometimes don't look into the future too much. The question is, of course, RJ, and this is a situation with people that are younger. A lot of times they don't care about the future. They only care about the now.
And that's what I mean with the choices you made. So that's exactly what I meant. So it's like it's the ability to see or predict to a certain extent the possible consequences of your action, the actions you take today. So that's basically that's basically what I mean. But everyone agreed. So some people find it disgusting. Some people we were in a group talking. Some people find it disgusting. How can old person with a young person? It's disgusting. And but
what is the question?
You can't.
Of course,
Some people just find it disgusting. I'm just saying. So it's just like a fear, right? And as you see, I mean, you talked about the Middle Ages. Listen, times change, and you can't compare a 15-year-old of, let's say, the Middle Ages with the current 15-year-old. Not even with our generation 15-year-olds, because they're a different breed.
so
They get told from a young age.
we're
what-
retarded. I'm gonna say it. That's what you're saying.
No, I didn't say that.
The development. We're developing, de-evolving.
I didn't say that. Don't put words in my mouth. You
said
talk
you
when
can't
it's your turn.
compare
Hey. Talk when it's your turn. Don't put words.
Okay,
in my
okay.
I'm just saying.
I give you the floor.
I'm just saying that the kids, they get a lot of information. They're getting influenced more aggressively than during our time. During our time, you watch it on TV. At that time, we did have internet, so we could we had dial-up, but we still had internet. And then you had your friends. But now, people are at the age of 4 or 5. Some people are speaking Mandarin. They know a lot of stars because they have the information at their fingertips. And so,
And
as a
still,
teenager,
they don't know what right from wrong.
yeah, I think it's just this, KaiR. There's just the power is not. It's not an equal playing level. It's not a level playing field.
Which power?
When you have the age gap on both sides, you also have it with all them teachers, KaiR, that people don't like to talk about, but then teachers that are sleeping with kids. There's that age gap, and it's just like an influence thing. But you didn't do anything illegal, and you're hearing it from this lady's own mouth that it was the best years of her life because she got access to a lot of things. I think, contrary to Diddy, it doesn't seem. I never had the impression, at least, that you was forcing anyone to do anything. Apparently, like Kendra's saying, and this lady, Kendra's her name, right? She said that She said that she got called and that they just asked her if she wanted to be a girlfriend. So upfront, everything upfront. It was clear what was expected of her, what that would entail, and what that would. It was clear. It was a contract.
It was a contract.
Now you can find I mean, you can think about it what you want, you know, but you can't compare. You can't compare apples and perfect
Oranges.
So it's like you can. It's like. It's like.
Yeah. I think that's the situation here where you have. I think RJ. One thing I've always believed is that, and maybe we have to do a show about the whole age gap thing, because I have a different view on that in general. Because if you look at the same age, they always crash out. So you gotta ask yourself: is the age gap? Maybe you gotta look at the age gap to a max, but I think probably age gap is usually balances the actually. Maybe you gotta look at it differently. I do think that if there is a certain age gap, it balances the power even more than same age usually. Because think about it, women usually have more access in the early ages of their development, access to certain people, connections. Men usually have to build themselves from the scratch. By the time they're 35, they have, let's say, a full blown. But until between the ages of 20, 18 to a 21-year-old RJ can hop on a yacht tomorrow. Can you hop on a yacht tomorrow with a billionaire? You can't.
No.
So there's a difference there.
That's true.
Okay, going back to this situation, you have Diddy, and this is the thing with relationship. It seems like Hefner had it figured out. You give the women a platform to present themselves. You have a contract. You know what you have to do. You can stay in the house as long as you do this. When you leave, I leave you better off than you were before. You have fame, notoriety. Everyone knows you. You can find a better mate than before. I think that's the difference between him and Diddy. Because Cassie hung out with Diddy and went back in time. End up with all due respect, a trainer, personal trainer.
Well, there are very rich personal trainers as well, right? So being a personal
this guy
trainer
wasn't one of them.
That's true. It's just like someone's jiu-jitsu trainer as well.
Shout out to Thomas Brady.
Thomas Patrick Brady.
Yeah, but that's that situation. She didn't go. So I think that's the biggest difference when you're dealing with people are not with Diddy. I think this is the problem when you're a drug addict as well, is that you cannot think rationally, you cannot structure everything. And when you have Hugh Hefner, who had a formula, you come in the house, we upgrade you, we put you on display, you find your mate and go your way. So you upgrade your status as a woman to find a higher level man. And that's why I think you'll never hear anything bad about Hugh. It was the women were free to come and free to leave. During that time when you're there, you have to abide by certain rules. But if you leave, you're free to leave. I'm not gonna hold you. I just hope you find a better person in the future. Because that's the goal of that whole situation.